So delighted to have you, Kaos, Ludovic.
Hello, how are we?
Kaos, we've been trying to arrange this podcast for some time, and finally we made it.
So hard to catch up these days. This time of the year too.
Yeah, this time of the year it's so busy with the Christmas parties in Australia, and well, what else you've been doing lately?
So a lot of my work, there's been big festivals, music festivals and DJs and things like that. That has been my big sort of lot of work that's been coming in at the moment, and that's Australia wide. So we have had our hands full.
Me and Kaos, we've been friends, affiliates for a long time. We've been on many gigs together. I do specialize in the corporate world transportation. What have you done most of in the past?
So I'd say I've been doing the most, I'd say musicians, sort of celebrity musicians and things like that. Bands, DJs, singers, all that sort of stuff. That's probably been my main bit of work.
My name is Ratko, a Sydney-based chauffeur, aka Ray. On this channel I share my passion by giving you a glimpse into my chauffeur life.
Can I take you back in your early days as a chauffeur? What was the main reason? How did you get started in the chauffeur service industry?
So I'll start back with my grandfather. He was a chauffeur.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
You never told me this.
Yeah, no, he was. And he used to drive people around. He used to dress up. It would be immaculate every time he went out in the car. And his level of service and just his demeanour, like, it was so awesome. Like, I wanted to be him. But as we grow up, we have different paths to our families or grandparents and all those sorts of things, and then did a whole lot of other jobs before this one, and one of my mates actually said, do you want to come and help me out on the weekends and drive for me? And I used to jump in his van, and that's where it all started. And he used to look after musicians and the like, and I loved it.
And I'm going to quickly film the landmark, the famous landmark here in Sydney. We're driving just on the infamous Harbour Bridge.
The Harbour Bridge, and then we've got the Opera House just up ahead. It honestly feels like we live on a movie set all the time. It's so good.
So these two landmarks in Sydney, for the people that never been in this city before, in this beautiful city before, I have to say, so these two landmarks, Sydney Harbour Bridge and also the Opera House, have not one next to each other, but so close.
Yeah, and look, we've got the Opera House here, and I dare say we're coming up to a hotel where we've spent a lot of time with each other out the front. It's the Park Hyatt. It's one of the most beautiful hotels.
So on the right hand side, as we drive now, in fact it's on the left hand side now, so this is one of the Sydney major hotels, Park Hyatt. How many times have you been in Park Hyatt?
I have spent probably weeks of my life sitting here out the front of the Park Hyatt, being inside the Park Hyatt. This is probably one of the most busiest, high-profile person's hotel. So that's where your world leaders come and stay. That's where musicians stay. That is the spot. So I've spent 16 hours a day sitting out the front there sometimes. So, yeah.
But what makes this hotel so special? Is it the location?
I'd say it would be the location, but at the same time, the service as well. The location is stunning, like it's second to none. And then you have the service as well, which is just, they're always really great. And the concierge out the front always look after us, which is really good. Mm-hmm. Always make friends with the concierge of hotels, I'm telling you that now.
That's a great tip. Always make a friend and always make these people on your side, because you're gonna be needing them.
Absolutely, because they decide whether you can sit at the front of the hotel or not, whether you can use their amenities. They can sometimes provide you bottles of water. We always have bottles of water with us, but it's just, you spend so much time there, you may as well make some friends and some camaraderie.
This looks like a lovely place. I can see a lot of people, a lot of umbrellas. What sort of place is this?
So
Tell me for the people that also never been to Sydney before.
Yeah, so this is the Rocks. This is a a very popular strip of restaurants and bars and all those sorts of things, and this is absolutely buzzing on the weekends. Definitely when Sydney was first originated, this was the port. This is where everyone, you know, all of the dock workers and stuff used to live all around here, and it wasn't a vibrant city as you see it now, but that's where all the shipping, import and export used to come out of.
I've heard the same. It wasn't as vibrant as it is at the moment. Kaos, so what I want to ask you, what sets chauffeur service apart from a regular transportation, in your opinion?
So, I think, look, anyone can basically sign up to be a chauffeur and you know, get your licenses and things like that. And there are thousands of drivers out there. But what the most important thing is what sets you apart from everyone else, because they could use anyone. So I think the most important thing is that you stay consistent, and then at the same time, look, 85% of business these days is relationship based. So your clients have to like you. You know, you have to do a good job, you have to turn up, and you have to present well, and also just learn when to talk and when not to talk. You know, just little things like that. Just pick up on the things that they like, the things that they don't like, and how they'd like to be served, because each client is different. So whether some clients, they will not let me get out of the car and open the door for them. No matter how many times I've taken them, I'll always try though. It's always important.
Is that for security reasons?
No, this is just regular clients, but for the security ones, that's really important that you just stay in the car, especially if you have a security advisor in the front seat. Yeah, your job is purely to drive. But no, just regular clients who just don't want to be serviced like that. But at the same time, I have clients where if you're not standing out in front of the car and have the door open ready for them when they come out, then it's a big issue. So I set my level of standard and stay consistent across the board, regardless whether people want it or not, because that's the type of chauffeur I want to be. I want to open the door for you. I want to have the waters ready for you. I want to have, you know, the little things, like I have a client who likes a specific treat, so I have that in the car for him before he gets in. You know, those sorts of things create great relationships, and then your network from them telling all of their friends just becomes massive. So
pretty much the same thing. So I preach on my channel. Most of the time, if you're single, if you're a solo chauffeur, you have to provide also personalized services in order for the people to come back and use your services again, because they tell their friends, they tell their family, and as we all know, the word of mouth is the most powerful tool when it comes to the marketing.
Huge. Word of mouth for me has been almost my whole business, and you know, meeting other chauffeurs as well, like meeting you, for example, Ray, and it was, you know, you never know who you're going to meet, and you never know who's going to be your next client. So make sure that you treat everyone with respect and as if they were going to be your long-term friend or long-term relationship. You know?
On my channel, I've got a lot of people asking questions. What sort of vehicle I need to use? Do I need to rent one? Do I need to buy one? For all these potential chauffeurs, in your opinion, what sort of advice would you give to the people that see the chauffeurology game as their potential new career path?
Yeah, look, that's a really good question. I'm glad that you actually asked that one, because I see constantly in the chauffeur world this vehicle for lease, you know, and that can be quite expensive for someone just starting out. So whenever someone offers you to lease one of their vehicles, especially just starting out, ensure it comes with work, because if you're leasing a vehicle for $600-800 a week, you have no income to start with. It's just, look, it's up to you what you do, but I probably wouldn't start there. So if someone was to say, yeah, lease my vehicle, just make sure that, okay, does that come with work that's going to cover the lease? So for me, what worked for me was I saved up enough money to get my own vehicle, and my advice to anyone is, when you're starting out, and you want to specialize in something, get a vehicle to match that, what you want to specialize in. And
but obviously you had some work coming before you purchased the vehicle, because
Yes.
a nice and luxurious vehicle and a driver, it won't make the living at the
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, exactly. And look, and that's when I first started. I worked for someone else, so they provided me the vehicle, and then they paid me, an hourly wage or a certain amount on each transfer, or things like that. So the best spot for me to start was to work for someone else, and someone that was already established. And there's plenty of big companies out there these days now where they can provide lots of work. But
How long did you work for someone else for?
for about 2 years, I worked for someone else.
Is that long enough, you think, that 2 years, or that's the time to learn the ropes of the trade?
Look, to be honest, for me at that time, that was the right time for me, because the avenue where I was working for someone else, was starting to close down. They were starting to wrap their company up. So I was sort of pushed into starting my own, which was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I love this. I love what I do so much. And I wouldn't have started on my own if I didn't get that push, because I was scared. There was a lot of financials. I didn't have my own client base. It was terrifying to start with, and but really I didn't have anything to lose, so I just went for it.
That's great. And tell me something about the vehicles. Also, people, they want to know what sort of vehicles are the best. Some people can't decide between a sedan or a people mover. Does the vehicle needs to be luxury?
So I think, look, the vehicle is very important, but not so much how luxurious it is. I just think you will get to that point. Really important to have a nice, clean vehicle that's, that can be used for many different types of jobs. So for me, I started with a people mover, a van, which is my Mercedes V-Class, and I still have it now. I don't think I'll ever sell it. It's the best car to start with, in my own opinion, because you can do...
So that's the van?
The van, yeah. So you can do the luxury transfers, you can do airport transfers, group bookings, parties, weddings, you name it, you can do it all. Tours. It's truly an amazing car, because you can do sedan work, SUV work, people mover work. It's
Tell me a
great.
little bit about this car. Why this sort of vehicle is so special and appreciated in the chauffeur industry?
The long wheelbase sedans, which is what this vehicle is. I've always wanted one of these, but at the same time, these vehicles are so special because, whenever there's any dignitaries, or if there's any royal families, for example, they always ask for Mercedes S-classes. And I love doing that type of work, because it's, I don't know, you just feel so prestige, it's a really good feeling. So these vehicles can fit someone in the back, and you can have this much leg room in the back, more, and it's truly a beautiful vehicle.
Can you share any tips for individuals and businesses looking to hire a chauffeur service for the very first time?
So for the very first time, I think it's really important to have a look at their website, but also reach out to them and see how they respond to you, because your first point of contact is going to set up the rest of the interaction and the rest of the experience. So if you don't have a very nice first sort of chat with someone, or email response, or text message, or whatever the case may be, then you've got a pretty good indicator that that person doesn't either have time for you, or doesn't respect the level of service they might give.
One of my guests in my previous videos, Michael, his opinion, he thought that the quality of the service in Sydney has dramatically dropped. Do you agree with his opinion?
I absolutely agree with that opinion. Across the board, yes. Speaking to Michael is actually so great, because he's been a chauffeur driver forever. He's one of those old school ones where people respected the work that the chauffeurs did. They had private cars everywhere they went. big CEOs and things like that. And he tells me his stories, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And the level of service now, everyone's trying to go for quantity rather than quality. Everyone's trying to push so much work out and try to undercut everyone, and the service level is dropping. Like, there's not the experience there. Like, I think it's so important to work with some experienced chauffeurs first, who are, you know, willing to teach you and really learn the ways of it, because now that Uber's sort of in the market and things like that, people just think that chauffeurs are a glorified Uber, where it's absolutely not. There's so much more service and there's so much more to it than just driving from A to B.
But I think that it's completely, in my opinion, that's completely different market.
Definitely.
That other group of people that are using us on a daily basis, I think the people that are using limo services will never go back to Uber.
No way. My clients, they wouldn't even dream of catching another Uber ever again. It's just so personalized, our service, and you know, I know my clients, like families and things now, and they've had children and they've introduced me to their children, and I take them, you know, sometimes to school and, you know, and things like that, and there has to be so much trust and respect in the work that we do.
Exactly. You've been chauffeur for a very long time. How has the chauffeur game evolved through the years? And have you noticed any changes, whether good or bad?
Yeah, just a big sort of influx in people, you know, starting up, which is great. I'm all for it, and I think it's great that people want to be chauffeurs. But if you want to be a chauffeur and you love it, then I think it's really important that you take the time to do the trade properly, and really learn from the people around you, and don't think you know everything, because the minute you start thinking that, you're just only limiting yourself. So really create a good network of people around you, because you'll end up spending a lot of time with a lot of chauffeurs, and it's a very, very, very small industry. So yeah, do your best, make some friends, and just do what you love.
Awesome, and I can see a lot of traffic. Actually, this is what we see Sydney every single day while on the road. Sydney is famous for its diverse neighborhoods and a lot of traffic. How do you adapt yourself on these traffic challenges?
Look, know what lane to be in and when to be in it. It's really important, and what roads to take and when not to take them.
Do the people tell you sometimes? Do they give you instructions where to go, how to drive?
Oh yeah, and look, at the same time, just if they ask you to go a certain way, just go that way. Don't even try to.
Regardless, you've been at the airport, for example, 5 times on that day alone.
Yep, exactly right. And they're like, "Oh mate, just go this way, it's quicker," you know. And for goodness sakes, just don't even say anything. Just go the way that they ask. Because at the end of the day, you're providing a service to them.
That's it. And tell me, for the people watching us, what is this place here?
So this is Pitt Street here. This is a very, very popular set of, you know, shopping malls and things like that. You have everything you need here. Absolutely.
I've taken a lot of people for shopping. This is one of the most famous places to shop.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, because you got your Myers, you have David Jones. You know, you've got everything you need here, and it's nice and central. Like, you know, all the major hotels are just quite literally walking distance to here.
Is another people mover?
Yeah, that one's a Mercedes Sprinter.
To be honest, I don't see many hire cars in Sydney on the road as I used to see at least a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Look, yeah. Oh, look, I'm not even really paying too much attention to that now. It's to be honest, yeah, I can see it's a bit less.
Definitely, in my opinion, less. Now, you've been many occasions. You've been nearby a lot of celebrities, a lot of corporate people, nearby a lot of influential people of all fields in life. How does it feel to be close to someone famous?
To be honest, I never really understood the hype of fandom. You know, that sort of situation where you see someone that's really famous and you freak out. Like, we as chauffeurs, we come across famous people, celebrities, all that sort of stuff all the time. So you have to really just be cool, calm and collected.
That's exactly what I'm trying
Yeah.
to prove the point. It's not like we are getting excited about being close to someone else. It's more like a job for us.
Yeah, you got to really treat it as a job, and you got to do your best job. And if you're gawking over a person that's a celebrity, then that's really unprofessional. And to take photos, I've seen chauffeurs taking photos. I've seen all of it. So it's really important that you're there to do a job. Their privacy is the most important thing, and you can't be invading their space because you are providing a service to them. I've only ever had photos when they wanted to take a photo with me and they wanted to have a bit of
To
a
show
memory.
their appreciation.
Yeah, exactly. And they wanted to have a photo with me so for them to keep, not for me to post up anywhere or anything like that. It's, yeah, the amount of people that we would have worked with that people almost wouldn't even believe it. And they're like, why didn't you post that on socials? I'm like, this is why I keep getting this work, is because it's no one else's business. And this is why we're at the level that we are now.
That's it.
Because we're professional.
Kaos, I want to thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure in sharing all these insights with the people watching. For the people they're going to see this and potential buyers of your services, I'm going to leave the link and your contact details in the description of this video. And lastly, what sort of advice would you give for all these potential chauffeurs for the future?
Just give it a go. You're going to be no worse off than you were before. Material things, aren't forever anyway. So if you just give it a go, plan first. That's the most important thing, is just don't go out and wing it, because that's what I did and it was so hard. So go out, get advice off people that are actually chauffeurs, not random people, and really see what they're doing and just ask them if you can just see how they do things and see, what sort of systems they have in place and things like that, because unfortunately it can be really hard and it takes a lot of work. But if you plan from the start and, stay consistent, focus on 3 things that you want to be known for in your business, and you'll be fine. Just go for it.